I'm now going to mix the sifted almond flour and sifted powdered sugar together until I receive a homogeneous mixture, which means a mixture that does not have any chunks and is consistent and is only one mixture. Now I am going to add 400 grams of sugar into a saucepan. I am now going to add 160 milliliters of water into the saucepan. I am now going to bring the sugar and water mixture to a boil by setting my stove top on high. And I'm going to employ the use of a thermometer because it is important that the mixture does not exceed 230 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm going to stir this mixture until the sugar and water melt together. As you can now see, the mixture is almost translucent and it is boiling vigorously, yet it has not exceeded 230. It is better to do this in a shallow pan because the shallower the pan, the easier it is for the mixture not to exceed 230 degrees Fahrenheit and the faster it will boil. While making macarons, it's a very delicate process. Cracking the eggs is very essential in this because you cannot allow any egg yolk to get into the egg white mixture because it can totally change the final outcome. You also need to make sure that all of your ingredients are at room temperature, including the eggs and everything. I am now going to take the 160 grams of egg whites and blend them until they become firm in soft peaks form. And I'm going to use a blender with a whisk attachment and I'm going to set it onto about medium speed, which is 5. I'm not going to try to whip them too firm, otherwise this will change the texture of my final product. Now I'm going to add my sugar mixture in a thin stream into the egg whites. After adding the syrup, I'm going to mix on low speed until the meringue has almost cooled. While the meringue is starting to cool by having my mixture beat on low speed, I'm going to go ahead and separate the almond powder mixture into 3 separate batches for the 3 different kinds of macaron I'm going to make. This makes it easy so when we dye the macarons, we will have 3 different colors and it's easier to get one kind of even color if you dye the almond flour than if you dye the actual whole mixture. I'm now going to split the 160 grams of egg whites into 3 batches of all of the almond flour mixtures. So that's about 53 grams each. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to all 3 ones. Now that I've added the egg whites to the almond mixtures, I'm going to stir these until it becomes a thick almond paste that looks like this, almost like oatmeal. Now that we've made all of the almond paste, we're going to go ahead and dye the macarons the colors that we want them to. You can just stray from the colors that I'm picking, but for champagne, I'm going to just leave it as is. And then for green tea, I'm going to dye that green with just a couple drops. And I can always add more if I need to. And I'm going to add red for the raspberry. I am now going to evenly distribute the egg white mixture to all of the different almond paste mixtures. And this will end in the result of 3 different colored macaron bases, which we will then pipe onto a cookie sheet. Now that we have made the almond paste mixture, it is time to start piping the macarons onto a cookie sheet. But first we have to fill them into a pastry bag, or in this case, a Ziploc bag. My lovely assistant here is ready to help me by holding the bag, and this is much easier to do if you have a friend or family member to help you with this. You can either line the cookie sheet with parchment paper or pan. In my case, I'm choosing pan. When using your Ziploc bag, you want to cut in one small corner, just a little piece off, and you want to make sure it's sealed airtight. And you're going to just pipe little circles. I'm making mine small, but you can make yours larger if you want to. After piping your macarons like this, it is important to hit them on a surface and give them a little shake to let them set. And if you see any big air bubbles, go ahead and pop them with the toothpick. Now that you have made these and piped them, it is time to let them sit for 1 hour to let the top harden so that you get that nice crispy crunch when you bite into a macaron. Now I'm going to preheat the oven while the macarons are waiting to 290 degrees Fahrenheit. After 15 minutes or so, open the oven, check on them because you need to make sure that they are done. If they have a frilly little edge like this, and they started to turn a little brown on the top, you know that they're done, and you can turn off your oven and you are done. After they have cooled for a couple of minutes, you're going to take a knife or a spatula or something like that, and you're going to scrape the macaron off. It should sort of just slide like off right just like that, and then you just set it down, and then you get a second one that matches that one side. So you sort of match them up. Oh, that looks like a good one. So then you just sort of do the same thing, and some of them might be a little bit harder to get off than others. So it's just really important that you pick one that you know that you can do. Like, some of these are really tough because they got a little overcooked. So, you know, it's just really important that you get one that you can work with, and it's just really grand. So then what you do with it is you just take your knife and take a little bit of the filling and then put it onto the macaron. You can also use like the Ziploc bag technique that I taught you, but I prefer this because it's a lot easier. Then you just place it, and there's your macaron. Overall, macarons are so fun to make. I had so much fun making them, and I hope you did too.